Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Teresa, and like the title says, we're going to be going over the books that I've read in April. So first thing first is it's only the 28th of April, so April is not technically over, but since we only have 2 days left, and tomorrow, the 29th, I'm going in to get my wisdom teeth removed, and probably not going to be reading much for the next couple of days. I'm just going to kind of end it here and say what I read. If I end up reading anything more tonight or tomorrow, which I doubt, or even Friday again, which I doubt, but if I do, I'll include it in May's books wrap-ups or TBR maybe. I don't know. Anyways, we'll get there eventually. So you have to pardon both my kind of unkempt appearance. I guess I don't look too bad today, but like, I'm in pain, guys. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm so ready to get these teeth out. They have been hurting me forever. It'll be good. So I'm just like, I have surgery in the morning. It's 8 o'clock at night right now. I have to be at the dentist office 7:30, so I have to leave the house around 6:30. I am not a morning person. I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm just like, there's no point in me getting dressed up or anything or putting my contacts in or whatnot just to film a video. So here we are. So for the month of April, I read 12 books, which quite honestly is average-ish for me, really, which is a little bit, I mean, I guess you consider average. Last month I read 16 books. This month I've only read 12, and a couple of them were graphic novels. But I did happen to also be out of town recently, so I wasn't doing any reading at all when I was gone. So yeah, let's get into this. The month of April was Disability Readathon month, and I was very glad to be able to participate. I guess I technically didn't finish it. I have one more book to read to really make it like finished for what all the prompts are, but I did read a lot of disability related books this month, and so I'm really excited about that. I've read both by own voices, so books written by people who are disabled, as well as books about disabled people, mentally ill, all that kind of stuff. A really good reading month. Even though I didn't read a whole lot of books, I am excited to say that the books I read were quite good. Stats. So I read 12 books in the month of April. There's a possibility I'm going to read more, but I doubt it. So we're just going to say 12. Again, I'll update if I read more. So I had 2 5 stars this month, which was awesome. I had 3 4.5 stars, 4 4 stars, 2 3.5 stars, and 1 3 star. So no 2 or below, which is great. And I did not DNF. No, I did not DNF any books this month. So that is good. Hi guys, editing Teresa here. Yeah, I'm still recovering from getting my wisdom teeth out. So sorry this video is late. I was hoping to get it out before I got my teeth pulled, but I just didn't have time to get everything done because I didn't film till like the day before I got my teeth pulled. So anyways, I forgot to add a couple stats into this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. I apologize that it's not the best situation as far as lighting and stuff, but like I said, I'm still recovering. I'm in a bit of pain and I just wanted to get this up because I had forgot to add in basically any of the stats besides the star ratings. I am brand new to doing wrap-ups and stats and all that kind of stuff, so forgive me. But that also means that by adding this video is going to be very long. So what I'm going to do is cut out parts of the video where I'm talking about certain books that I read, that I also read for Disability Readathon. So as mentioned, or as we'll be mentioning, I took part in Disability Readathon in April, and I will be doing a separate wrap-up about those specific books later on. But to keep the time not like crazy long on this video, because it already is going to be a longer one, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you what books I read, but not give any information about said books or my thought on said books. If you want to know that information, go ahead and check out my Disability Readathon wrap-up. There will still be a few books that I give my thoughts on because they're not part of that readathon, just FYI. So yeah, let's get into the other stats besides the star ratings, shall we? Okay, I apologize for the weird angle, the bad lighting and everything. Again, I'm recovering. So I'm not going to have any graphics up for these, as it's just going to take me way too long to do that, and I really want to just get this video out since it's already a few days. Actually, it's about a week behind of what I wanted to get it out. So I'm sorry. Moving forward next month, I'm going to do a lot better preparing and having stats and everything all, you know, ready to go for you guys. Also, if I'm talking weird, it's because I just had some teeth pulled. Okay, here are all my stats for the month of April. We're going to start with authors first. So in total, I read 12 books, which I think I already mentioned, from 8 separate authors. Gender, I read from 5 female authors, 1 male author, and I believe 2 authors that are considered other. I know one is for sure non-binary, and the other one I'm not positive, but what I could find, it seems like they are as well, or at least, I don't know. So I'm just putting them in the other category. For race, I read one written by a person of color, one written by a non-American Caucasian, and 6 books written by an American Caucasian author. Obviously, I know that needs to be fixed. I have never checked my stats before, ever, in my life of reading. I've never paid attention, like, one way or the other. It's not like I've been, like, purposely neglecting certain authors. I've just never really cared. I just, like, that book sounds good, I'll read it. But after looking at this, I'm like, I need to, like, really be more conscientious of the books that I'm reading and who they're written by. Okay, so for representation, we have 2 of the authors are on the LGBTQ, whatever that is. And then 6 of the 8 authors that I read from are considered disabled, or are, like, disability representation or whatever. So like 2 LGBTQ representation, 6 disability representation. 6 of the authors are American, 1 author is from the Netherlands, and 1 author is from the UK. So now formatting on as far as how the books are formatted. I read 6 physical books, 2 ebooks, and 4 audiobooks. There were 2 middle grades, 1 children's book, which is could be considered middle grade. It was the graphic novel El Defo, but I'm just going to consider it children's. 5 adult books and 4 young adult books. Out of the 12 books that I read, I've only owned 2 of them physically, and the rest I had borrowed from the library. I read 1 thriller, 4 fantasies, 5 graphic novels, 1 autobiography, and 1 romance book. Within the books themselves, 6 of the books had disability representation, 5 of the books had LGBTQ rep, and 1 of the books had a person of color for the main character. I read 2,006 pages and listened to approximately 21 hours on audio. That's rounded down because I listened to my audiobooks on either 1.75 or 2 times speed. So that 21 hours of audio is taking in consideration the fact that I basically, cut the time in half when I read my audiobooks. So there you go, guys. Those are the stats for April, and we'll get back to the rest of the video. And like I said, if you're looking for information on certain books, the ones that are not included, or like the information's not included, my thoughts and stuff are not included, look forward to the disability wrap up, which will be coming as soon as I get these done, because it's still a little difficult to talk, or not done, but healed, because it's still a little difficult to talk. So I will hopefully be seeing you all very soon. Okay, I'm going to kind of go through a couple books here. I'm debating on what order I should tell you all, because I did do the disability readathon. I think I'm just going to go in order of books that I read, and then I will just explain if they are related to disability readathon. I will also be doing a follow-up video to the disability readathon where I talk about all of the books that I read in more in depth, and kind of talk about how they affected me and all that, because I am someone who is disabled myself, my experiences with this readathon and reading these books. So definitely look forward to that, but it'll be filmed after I'm healed from my wisdom teeth, because that's going to be an ordeal. So the first book that I read in the month of April is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. And yes, this is my first time. I literally just hit myself in the face. This is my first time ever reading this series. I did read Six of Crows 2 years ago, I think. I remember I really liked it. I don't remember a whole lot about it. Yeah, this is my first time reading the Grishaverse, or at least the original trilogy, and I was obsessed. I loved this book. So I didn't give it quite a 5-star. I gave it a 4.5 just because I just felt like it wasn't quite a 5 yet. Like, it was real dang close, but not quite there, so it was a 4.5. I am reading these now. I've had these on my TBR for like years and years and years, so, you know, I've been aware of these books. But like most people out there, since the series has aired, I decided to pick these up and finally read them because I'm like, I want to read the books before I watch the TV show. So yeah, I read Shadow and Bone, really truly enjoyed this. I actually am going to be having a standalone reading vlog coming out. Again, some of these videos have been postponed because of the surgery with the wisdom teeth thingy, but be looking forward to that sometime next month. That'll come out. A standalone of me reading all 3 books, or like a reading vlog of me reading all 3 books. But yeah, Shadow and Bone, really enjoyed it. It was really interesting, was really involved, really invested through the whole book, just like could not put it down. It was super fast paced, and it was so reminiscent to me of like my teenage years because it reminds me of kind of the books that I like. The way the story is written and everything really reminds me of the kind of books that I was reading when I was a teenager. So it was really fun to read this. Again, 4.5 stars. Highly recommend this series. It does read young because it's YA, but I really enjoyed it a lot. The next couple of books we have are actually graphic novels. So I have read The Oracle Code, and this is by, oh my gosh, I know I'm gonna butcher this woman's name. She's Norwegian, I believe. I believe it's pronounced Marjorie Niekamp. But this is basically a kind of retelling graphic novel, and it's, you know, comic book style, which is great, of Oracle, who is in... So I gotta tell you guys, I was irritated with this book. And the only reason why I'm irritated with this book, even though because the book was really good, I was irritated with this book because it's not canon. And I am the biggest Batman fan. I love Batman, and Oracle is actually Barbara Gordon, that's who she is in the book, but in the Batman universe, Barbara Gordon is Batgirl, and she gets shot by the Joker, and then she gets paralyzed, and so she becomes Oracle. Well, in this book, Barbara Gordon is a teenager. She's not Batman. She still gets shot, but like under different circumstances. And this book is all about her journey of accepting who she is now that she is paralyzed. This I actually rated a 4-star. The reason I didn't rate this a 4.5 was because it's not canon, and that's just personally, it bothers me. Like, there's nothing wrong with the story. It just bothers me personally, so. But I do recommend it. It was pretty good. If you like anything that has to do with the Batman universe, just know the only thing that's really the same is the fact that she is Commissioner Gordon's daughter. After that, I read another graphic novel, and this was also for the Disability Readathon, and that is El Defo, and this is by C.C. Bell. This was freaking cute. This is a book about a young girl who named Cece. So it's basically the author's fictionalized autobiography, I guess, or like reimagined autobiography. It's a Newbery Honor book. Basically all the characters in here are bunny rabbits, and it's adorable. Some of the artwork is just really cute. I believe that the author also illustrated the book herself. Yeah, she also illustrated it. Basically, this is just her story of how she lost her hearing at a young age and has kind of grown up and dealt with being deaf. So this, I gave this a 4.5 stars just because not only was the writing good, I thought the storyline was very good and very, even though I myself am not hard of hearing, I could really see a lot of myself in the character and kind of her struggles and what she goes through as being someone who is different and being someone who is disabled. And just the whole story itself just made me happy, so I rated this a 4.5 stars. The next book I have after that would be Saga, Volume 4. Not a whole lot to talk about for this later series, this late in the series. Saga, for those of you who are not aware, is a series about, it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet retelling about two rival, like, well, there's a planet and a moon, and like, so it's set in outer space, and they're rivals, and there's this war, and two people, one from one side and the other side, they fall in love and have a baby, and this is kind of their story. It's told through the daughter's perspective, their child's perspective, and it's kind of their story of how they navigate the world while their daughter is growing up. And I gotta say, I was just kind of like meh with it for the first few books. Interesting story, but nothing to write home about really. It's an adult book. There is language, there's nudity, there's all that kind of stuff in here. It's a very adult series, which isn't necessarily my favorite thing, but you know, whatever, I can look past it. Saga volume, I think 1, 2, and 3 were all 3 stars for me. This one was a 4-star because the story was starting to get a little bit better and I'm a little bit more invested. I'm definitely invested enough to like keep reading it. Yeah, so it was a 4-star or a 3.5 star and not much to say about it because it's in the middle of the series. The next book after that, now guys, this one is way out of my comfort zone, way completely something I normally would have never picked up, and that is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I don't read romance. I really don't like romance. I'm not a fan of it. I don't read it. I really don't like adult romance. I don't like smutty stuff. I don't like sexual stuff in my books. I'm like, you know, you do you, but I don't need to hear, you know, be reading about other people's sexual experiences thing in graphic detail. Thank you much. That's just not my thing. So I did end up rating this book a 4.5 star, and literally the only reason why it's not a 5 is because of the sexual stuff. And that is nothing against this book. It is nothing against this author. That is just a personal preference. So I'm not saying, oh, it's not a good book because of this. I'm just saying personally, I don't like reading that stuff. But obviously I knew going into this book, this is a romance, this is adult romance, there's going to be that stuff in there. I knew that going into it. And legit, the only reason why I picked this book out was because of the disability rep, where the main character has like fibromyalgia. And then the next book I have is Ice by Sarah Beth Durst. This book I'd been reading since beginning of last year for Polarthon of 2020. I had it checked out from the library off and on. I think I had about like 50% of it read and I just kind of got bored with it and put it down and I was picking up other books. I had it on ebook. And ebooks are difficult for me to read because I use my phone. I don't have a Kindle or an iPad or anything like that, and I just read them on my phone and it hurts my eyes and kind of gives me migraines. So it takes me a while to read them. Also, sorry if all of a sudden I start talking funny. I just had to put some numbing gel on my tooth because it's really hurting me and it hit my tongue, so I feel like I'm going to be talking funny if all of a sudden my speech pattern changes. I know I already have trouble speaking, and then yeah, numbing gel, and it's just like, it's a problem. Okay, so Ice is basically, from what I understand, is a retelling of East of the Sun, West of the Moon. It's a retelling, I guess. I've never read that fairy tale, so I don't know anything about it, but I guess it's a retelling of that. Whereas this girl, Cassie, she lives with her father up in the North Pole, or in like, not the North Pole, but like the Arctic, northern Alaska, northern Canada, and they study polar bears. And one day a magical polar bear comes and says that to free her mother, who had been missing for many years, from the troll castle, that Cassie has to marry the polar bear. And so he whisks her back to his castle, and it's kind of her story of figuring out whether or not she loves this polar bear, how basically she tries to get home and kind of like save her mom and all this stuff. If you read the original story, I think you kind of get the gist of it, because I think it's pretty closely based on the original fairy tale, just with, you know, different settings and different characters. But I enjoyed it, but it was very young. Definitely a middle grade book, but Cassie was older. So it was like, it was weird. It was written like a young middle grade, but it had some like, they weren't explicit, but like some like bedroom stuff happening. I don't really know how to describe it other than that, without like giving any spoilers or anything, but different, definitely different. Again, nothing explicit, so a kid could totally read it and like it's not inappropriate or anything. It just was a little bit weird, and I just felt like it was really young. And I don't mind reading middle grade books. I don't mind reading YA books. Actually, I read a lot of YA. I don't mind reading middle grade, but this just felt a little bit too young for me, and which is fine. Again, nothing against the book itself, because I think it was written for a younger audience, which is totally fine. You know, I think if I was the age this book was written for, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. But that's just, you know, how I feel as an adult reading a child's book. Sometimes it just doesn't come across quite as well to an adult as it does to a child. So that was a 3-star read for me. After that, I read an audio, or listened to an audiobook, and that's Being Human, or Human by Judy Heumann. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. It might be pronounced human. I don't know, but I think it's like just a slight pronunciation difference. This was a really good book. The reason why this wasn't a 5-star, so this book ended up being a 4-star. The reason it was a 5-star is because I did disagree somewhat with some of the social commentary in this book, but it's hard to rate it because it's an autobiography or memoir. Really, it's a memoir. And basically this book, what it's about is this woman, Judith, who is a quadriplegic, and it's her story, well, her and others, but it focuses on her obviously because it's her memoir of being a disability activist and fighting for the rights of disabled people. And so like what I'm saying is like some of it was just her personal belief or her personal view on things. I didn't necessarily agree with some of them, but the actual factual stuff, like, duh, that's factual. So yes, I agree with it because it's true. But what I, you know, there was just a couple of stuff that was kind of her philosophy or her personal view of the world. It's just different than mine, you know? It was like, but it's whatever, it's fine, you know? It's good to read other people's opinions and good to read other perspectives of life. So yeah, but this book, it was a solid 4-star for me. The next 2 books I read, actually I'm just going to tell you at the same time because they go in tandem, and that is Saga Volume 5 and Saga Volume 6. Both of these books I rated 4 stars. So we're going up. It was 3, and then it was 3.5, and now both of these are 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. I felt like in book 5, I really got more invested in the story. I feel like the characters are super fleshed out now. You really know about them and kind of their journey, what they're going through. And it's kind of heart-wrenching. And there's certain scenes that I was just like, oh my gosh, like, please don't make this awful decision that is going to destroy everything. Like, I love these guys. Like, they need to be together and, you know, all this stuff. And this family is just really cute. And I just really enjoy it. I love the kind of back and forth between the husband and the wife, the main characters who are the star-crossed lovers kind of situation, and just kind of their story of how they're figuring out life and everything, and then their child, and there's some other characters that are in here. I'm just gonna say, it won't spoil anything, but if you've read this book, Gillis is the freaking cutest character. Or Gus? It's Gus. He is the freaking cutest character. Let me just show you a little tiny clip of him without spoiling anything. Yeah, that is the Gus, the little seal guy, and he's so cute and I love him. But yeah, anyways, really good, really interesting story. There is queer rep in this throughout the whole series, and actually in 5 there's trans rep. So yeah, really interesting. I'm getting really more into this series. Some of the scenes are just like, what? Like, gross, ew. But it's fun. It's really fun, and I'm invested. But yeah, I only have 3 more to go, and then I think that's all that's been published so far. But like I said, both of these were 4-star reads, and so I'm really looking forward to furthering the series and seeing where it goes and seeing if I end up with a 5-star for one of these books. After that, I read my first 5-star of the month, and that is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. This book was fantastic. I kind of had a feeling about halfway through, and I was like, this might be a 5-star. I really think this is going to be a 5-star. You know, it all comes down to the end of the book, whether or not it makes it a 5-star or not, because if the author totally, like, bombs it at the end, I'm like, ah. But this one did so good. I really, truly enjoyed it. Last 2 books that I've read for the month of April would be Siege of Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This is book 2 in the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and oh my gosh, this was my second 5-star read of the month. So this book was so good. I know it's funny because, you know, usually you have like the middle book slump or whatever, where the second book like isn't as good, but I thought this was better than the first one. The character, I'm not gonna like do spoilers or whatnot, but the character of Nikolai, I adore him. I love that character so much. Yeah, I talk about it more in my spoiler reading vlogs, which I will be posting eventually, hopefully, you know, this month. But yeah, so I wanted to read the whole trilogy before I watched the show, but I can't wait that much longer, guys. I'm gonna be watching the show while I'm down from getting my teeth out, while I'm like resting on the couch and stuff. I'm gonna binge the show because I know that it really only covers the first book anyways, so I don't think I'm missing out, but I've read the second one. So even if it does go a little bit into the second book, I'm good there. And like I said, I've read Six of Crows. It was a while ago, but I have a general like handle on the characters and who they are, their stories. And I know this is kind of like a prequel to Six of Crows, at least those characters being involved in Shadow and Bone movie or TV show. So yeah, I don't know. I can't really talk much about this as it's the second book in the series, but I am on to book 3 now, and there were some things in here that I just thought were executed excellently. And I just think she did a really, really good job with this book. It was so fast paced, really hard to put down because you're constantly like, you're just wanting to know what's next, what's next, what's next. And there was never a slow moment in this book. Some things started to kind of be put together and make sense, and some stuff was like really sad, and other stuff you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And I don't know, again, I really enjoyed this, and I'm so excited to get on to Moon and Rising, which is book 3. Like I said, I was hoping to read this month, but I ended up going out of town for a couple of days and just wasn't able to get any reading in. I can't find this on audiobook anywhere, of course, because I don't have Audible. So this will probably be read next month, but I'm going to be reading or watching the TV show like tomorrow when I get home from the oral surgeons. So, you know. But yes, 5-star. Great book. I'm like praying that like the third one does not disappoint. Okay, and the last book that I read for the month of April would be Even If We Break, and this is also by Marjorie Niekamp, who wrote Oracle. This author, actually, I don't think I mentioned, this is Own Voices author. She has autism. And this book, I gave it a 3-star. So I'm just going to read you what it says on the back because it's kind of like, I can't really say much without going into spoilers. So 5 friends go to a cabin. 4 of them are hiding secrets. 3 years of history bind them. 2 are doomed from the start. 1 person wants to end this. No one is safe. Are you ready to play? Basically, it's about these 5 friends who are in this LARPing community, or roleplay. Like, if you don't know what LARPing is, I can't remember what the acronym is, but it's like a live action role-playing game. Is that LARPing? Anyways, yeah, so they have this like world that they have created for themselves, and they go up to this cabin because 3 years ago something really bad happened between them that kind of put a rift in their friendship, and so they are trying to come back together for one last game and like finish the game, put it to bed, and just like go from there. And things start happening. Actually, I rated this a 3.5. Did I say a 3? I don't remember what I said, but it's 3.5 because of the fact that it was super entertaining to me. Yeah, that's it. That is my April TBR. That is everything that I've read so far, and it's the 28th again, so I don't think I read anymore in the month of April. Not my April TBR, my April wrap-up. Wow, I can't talk. And my teeth hurt, so I want to go. And I will talk to y'all later. Hopefully you'll get this video very soon. Yeah, I'm excited to talk with y'all and subscribe and like and all the things, and look out for the disability wrap-up, readathon wrap-up, because that'll be coming next, hopefully. Anyways, talk to you later, guys. Bye.